and they would just wrap it up in 5 minutes or something.
Hey guys, I don't know what happened. YouTube shut it down after an hour, and we don't have some setting on here that says that.
Yeah, and I think it's entirely coincidental that I was calling YouTube power mad greed heads when suddenly they pulled the plug on us. We didn't. We don't have no reason to believe that we just got shut down or something like that.
Sorry, we just put up. Now this is going to be now a new stream. Live stream. You guys are over there commenting on the other one. We're sorry about how this happened. This is just a little apology. I don't know what happened. It just ended. It said like it was set up that way or something.
Right. So
yay, we're back. Yes, we're back. We could be back for a few more minutes, but yeah, sorry. We have no idea what happened on that. I'm definitely going to look into that for next time, but I didn't hit a button, nothing. It just said stream finished on the screen. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're just learning how to do this. This is our just time 3 that we've done this, and Jason has been digging into the software and figuring these things out.
Well, we've gotten better, I think.
Well, I guess I don't know if we're any more coherent,
except for this one.
Except for it going away on us. Of course, the other one will be there to watch. But I just did want to ask you guys to, since I'm going to have John Wood Jr., that young Black Republican intellectual that I was talking about. I think him, a guy named Coleman Hughes. There's a woman named Valerie, Chloe Valdere, I think is her name. And then there's older guys like Glenn Lowry and John McWhorter. There's a whole bunch of these guys, and they're the new generation of the people that we know, like Thomas Sowell and Walter Williams and Shelby Steele and all of those guys, and also Jason Riley, who is a really great intellect as well. There's many really fine Black intellectuals who really have a lot of clarity on this issue. So I'm going to have John Wood Jr. on my podcast with me coming up, and we're going to tape that Thursday, I think, this coming Thursday or Friday, and so I'll put it up after that. So I hope that some of you will at least watch it. If it looks like it's an hour long and you just want to watch 5-10 minutes, that would really be helpful, because then it'll come in as a view and it'll help me, because he knows some people who might want to come on the podcast, and I'm a rookie in that business and I don't have connections, so it's easier if I can say, yeah, come on the show. We can probably be looking at 20,000 views. They're more likely to come than if I said, well, nobody watches my podcasts, but please come on my show. Just, make me happy.
Yeah. And definitely, we want to thank everybody who supports us, who watches our videos,
totally,
who donates, who watches the commercials, who goes to our not SoundCloud. I don't want to say SoundCloud, but it's Teespring, our Teespring page. Buy some gear. I appreciate it. You guys, some of you guys send us pictures, which
I like the new
really
white people need love too. I think that's.
Oh, is that a new shirt?
No, just making.
Well,
that
if we make that, there's been a couple of shirts like that I thought about making, but then we're going to end up being deplatformed at Teespring.
I don't
on
want
that kind of stuff.
That's more like a Crowder kind of move. You know what I mean? Where, like, do you remember when Crowder got supposedly thrown off of YouTube? That it wasn't really that. He had something on the wall behind him that used the F word as regards gay people. That F word.
Oh,
I don't think I could use that word on here. I'm not sure, but he wouldn't take it down, and so they suspended his channel until he would take that thing down from the back that was shown in his videos.
Yeah,
if I'm getting it right. So he used that opportunity to get everybody to sign up to buy to a thing called Mug Club, where they bought into it, and it was like a subscription service. So he actually made a ton more money by being quote unquote thrown off of YouTube, which he wasn't really.
Yeah.
They just said, in order to keep doing this, you have to get rid of that.
Yeah.
And so he said, and so he made a big thing about it, right? And, because Crowder is really, he's got a marketer's mind.
He's a smart dude.
Smart guy. Yeah.
And yeah, there's been videos that we got demonetized that you guys came in and said, hey, this is a good video, and we get a lot of donations because it was demonetized. Maybe we got a little bit more money on that video than we would have if it would have not been demonetized. That's happened to us a few times.
It's happened a couple of times, and that's why but we don't want to give the wrong impression sometimes that that we're being persecuted or anything like that. I always say that I try to keep gratitude as my default setting, and YouTube has been really good to us in general. And I always do have to remember that they are working. They're uploading like 1 billion videos a day. People crazy. All around the world. Something and they're trying to keep track of a lot of stuff, some of which is really crazy. And so they're making this up as they go along.
Right.
It's like the Wild West. They're on the fly and they're making stuff up, and most of them are really young people with limited life experience. And they're doing the best they can. So
I thought it was funny. You did a video where it actually started off where you're like, "Hi, YouTube censor, I want to talk to you." That made me laugh. Here we got a couple comments here. Let's see. This is from Rat's Ass 67. Hey fellas, as soon as I show up, you kids split. Rachel or Raquel, Camp Verde, Arizona. Been with your channel a long time. Just broke in, and today you guys skip out. Some fine. How do you? Thanks for sharing. Thank you. I guess that's Raquel. Is that how you say Raquel? Is that Rachel? Rachel. Right here. That's really showing how smart I am.
It's kind of a cross between Rochelle and Rachel. I don't know.
Maybe it's Rochelle.
Rochelle?
And then Rochelle, that's probably what it is. And then Charles Turner, you said, Dave and Jason, great to see you two going live. You had a point, Dave, when I responded to your video yesterday. I still am concerned about the long term, but always remain optimistic and hopeful.
Well, thank you, Charles. Thank you.
I mean, it's the only way to be is optimistic and hopeful if you want to go through this life and feel all right.
Yeah,
you have to.
Right. And I have this thing, and I know I've been banging this drum a little bit lately, but we don't have our avatars fell away from us in the last month. Rush Limbaugh is gone, and Donald Trump is no longer on the scene. So it's like, okay, a lot of us were sort of drafting along behind Donald Trump and letting him take all the heat. I go, oh, it's because it's just so entertaining, and he's taking all the arrows and he's biting them off, and poking their eyes out with the stump of the arrow, and we're just going, that's very entertaining. But in order to win long term, and in order to stop being under the thumb of the American left, we have to take their votes away from them. And this is one of the few things that actually is a zero-sum game. If I make one friend and I convince him or her to change their voting registration and start voting Republican, they go down by 2 votes because we go up by 1 and they go down by, so the differential becomes 2 votes. So it's one of those rare zero-sum game things. And that's the only way that you really win long term. You have to go into each election as the majority party, or at least even, and now we're the minority party, and we've been that way for a long time. So
doesn't matter. Yes, we did get your super chat. It was at the end of the last video when it cut off, but it was there. I saw it. So thank you very much. Doesn't matter. Good name. I like it.
So anyway, that's all. I would just wrap that up by just saying that we have 2 years before we're going to be trying to get some of Congress, back into our column, and just change one mind. Just change one mind.
Right.
If everyone just thought, well, if I'm really a Republican, let me change one mind. Just one.
No, I agree. And I also think we all know those people that you can't change their mind. And you don't
know the ones that are on the.
You don't have to waste your time with those people. You don't have to. You can. I sometimes waste my time with them because I'm pretty good at getting them to a point to where they're making their argument that the next argument they're going to say is what I want them to say, and I get them to that point, and then they get all upset. And
I know you're an assassin.
They say you're a racist or you're a whatever, and But I get them right to this point, and I like to do that because I've embedded this little bit of doubt in their head. But
these are usually the hardcore people, and
that's right.
They're less likely to
That's
come
right.
over.
No, like I love talking to honest people, like you said, like a Sam Harris or someone like that. I got some friends and some mutual friends with you, and they definitely are willing to have a conversation and be honest about their side. And you can ask them something, and they'll say, I never thought of that, but I still think it's better than what you're saying, you know, or whatever.
But if we were fielding somebody like a Dan Crenshaw, who's very, very reasonable sounding, and they were fielding somebody like an AOC, and if it came down to that, a lot of those people who are kind of near the middle kind of would come over to our side just to prevent their side from going fully woke.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's that middle ground people that really elections are won by who manages to woo the independents.
Yeah, it's yeah, and someone just mentioned up there that the media and the manipulation is it's such an operation, right? Like I mentioned that in that video about the two congressmen that are, you know, wrote letters to cable companies trying to get Fox News off the air. And it's like, wait a second, you called Trump for saying fake news. You called him a fascist. And now you're writing letters wanting to get the opposition off the air. And then you know, go back to the fact that there was a lot of fake news that was called out because it was fake news. And
but this whole thing is a bit symbiotic because those people do that, and then that's on every conservative talk show.
Sure.
And then that gets everybody really riled up when really there's two people that did that. Okay,
no,
let's
I hear
talk about those two people. Now, if those two people are in your district, like, I mean, we gave this enormous amount of influence and power to AOC, and she was elected by 11,000 people. That's how many people voted for her, 11,000 people. She comes from a little district, and she doesn't have any more power in Congress unless we give her the power by reacting to everything she says. That brings her up. And over there, they're going, oh, look, we found a champion. AOC must be our champion because look how upset Donald Trump is by her, or look how upset Fox News is by her. So it's, you know, I mean, playing poker is a good thing to say, okay, I'm going to let some of this stuff go by. I'm going to remind myself, this is just a person who disagrees with me. I'm not going to give them the flamethrower of national attention that they're trying to get me to give them by doing something to piss me off. Like I mentioned in that piece I just did about Rush Limbaugh, he would say things that he knew was going to get them all talking. And then they would all say a bunch of crazy stuff about that. And he's got a whole show. Then he does a whole show about all the crazy things they said because he said this one thing.
Yeah.
And that's a symbiotic relationship that has nothing to do with good governance or us all getting liberty. It's just more noise.
I would say what I maybe see a little bit different than you is that these people are elected officials, AOC and these two congressmen from California. But we do really take it when there's a tweet from some person, you know, who did movies 20 years ago and they haven't done anything. And then we go like,
tweets everywhere.
Can you believe this? And we do that for sure with that. But
this is what they think. No, this is what one person who used to do movies 20 years ago thinks.
But I do think we have to call out when elected officials are doing things like AOC has done or whoever it might be. But no, there is a symbiotic relationship for sure.
And of course, and sometimes a tweet so does express what we've heard a million different ways and a million different times, and it's time to really talk about that issue.
That's true.
So sometimes, so it's not as if you can't use an individual tweet as saying this is what they think, because sometimes it is what they think.
Right.
So I don't mean to, to
make it as simple as don't attack one.
But sometimes it's a whole new degree of crazy.
No,
and maybe maybe we don't want to grab every crazy and react to it as if it's all equally a threat.
Right.
Big government, the erosion of our personal liberties, that's a big, widespread, deeply embedded problem on the left. So, and I was so happy to see that C-PAC really concentrated on that.
Yeah.
They were really talking about individual liberties as laid out in the Bill of Rights.
Here, before we wrap this up, let me ask you one thing. What's Trump going to say tomorrow? He's going to speak at C-PAC tomorrow.
Oh, he's going to speak.
He's going to speak at C-PAC tomorrow. What's Trump going to say?
I didn't know that thing was still.
Is Trump gonna go full Trump? And
I want to hear what they say.
Yeah. Well, we're on a little bit of a delay, but yeah, you guys,
It'll take a little.
Go ahead and comment. What do you think Trump's going to say tomorrow? Is he going to go after the left super hard? Is he going to talk about the election? Is he going to go back to kind of what the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, kind of talked about, which is, and Mike Lee, about freedom and liberty and the Constitution?
Or will he announce?
Or will he announce he's running for 2020? Yeah. He started an exploratory for 2024.
Well, who was it? I think it was Bill Maher said yesterday or recently, and I got this secondhand from Scott Adams' show this morning, said that Bill Maher had said 100% Trump's going to run.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, do you believe everything Bill Maher says? I don't.
GMAC72 says Trump is always Trump. He's not changing his stripes now, and that's a good point. I doubt he's gonna change. He's gonna the crowd ain't gonna be big enough for him. Maybe corrupt DC Republicans down with the swamp monsters. Muzzle velocity says
the reporting will all be about insurrection and white supremacy.
That's
yes,
what it will. It'd be
no matter what he says,
it'll be
right?
C-PAC full of white nationalists, right? I think.
Interesting. Trump will be positive and teasing about the future. Yes, I agree, and he'll be potentially mocking put down of Biden's first days.
Yeah, I think that's true. Bill Maher's a poop bag. Okay, I think Trump
pointed mocking. Excuse my elderly eyes.
I think Trump will run, but it will be difficult to win with all the fake mail-in ballots. Trump will only be there as a kingmaker, allude to something, but not pull the trigger by stating anything.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I tend to think that I think that would be a smart thing for Trump to do.
I think that's what he's going to do. And the reason I think that, and I said this before in a video.
Now I'm interested in what way he's going to be kingmaking. I mean, I'm seeing Mike Lee
or Ron DeSantis.
Because
he's a governor, right? And he's in Florida. But yeah, that's how I see it. I see Trump's better play is to do that. And I also think, why would Trump want to go through the attacks all over again? He did his run. He did his time. Now he can do something else and have a little relaxation. He's not a young guy, right? So that's what I think.
In a sense, he has inherited Rush Limbaugh's position as the sort of guy outside who really could aim the Republican Party. Mm-hmm. Trump really could. I used to say during the Newt Gingrich, during the Gingrich Revolution, where there's this sort of the contract with America that they made and stuff. Yeah. That whole thing with Gingrich. I always thought that was the Limbaugh Revolution. I always thought that was really, he was the one that was driving attention toward that in that way.
I think so.
And I think Trump will take somewhat of that role, maybe.
I hope so.
Of course, I'm liking your comments better than my own.
I hope so. One guy, Jeff, wants Trump's oldest son to get in there. I don't see that happening.
Who's the oldest son?
I think it's Don Jr., but I'm not sure.
Or maybe that's Eric. I don't know. I don't know the chronological age of those guys.
I can see Trump backing a guy like DeSantis or Cruz.
What did you guys think about Cruz last night? I thought he was working a little bit too hard to be a stand-up comedian.
I thought he did try a little hard. I only got to watch part of it. I thought he tried pretty hard. He made light of the Cancun situation.
In general, I can't help but love that guy.
Right.
And so I was looking at it. I was, okay, maybe I wouldn't have gone quite in that way. And I also think we weren't hearing the laughter from the audience because of the general
the way that room
bad
is
sound.
now.
Yeah. And there weren't that many people really in there because they were all social distancing.
Yeah. Josh
But
Hawley gets it. Yeah, a lot of people starting to like Josh Hawley quite a bit. He's young.
To me, he comes off as about 40% show business. Whereas I look at somebody like Tom Cotton, and he's only about 10% show business. Like I'm looking for that sort of light top coat of show business. There's always going to be some show business in politics.
Yeah.
From here going forward.
I think there will be.
Yeah, but there's some of these guys. They seem like they're almost in politics for the showbiz part of it. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
Holly's got kind of a right on. You know, he brings my hackles up a little bit, but he's a smart dude.
Jeremiah, thank you for the super chat. Hello from Springfield, Missouri. I enjoy your channel. Trump will be too old to run. We need a younger candidate. I kind of feel that way too. I don't think he's too old to win necessarily, but I just think he's too old in the sense, like I said, he would rather be playing golf. He ain't gonna live forever.
Well, one thing you got to say, we got a lot of younger people now that are completely presentable and obviously have the fire in their belly.
Yeah, Matt Gaetz should be backed and groomed by Trump.
I missed Matt Gaetz' speech. I couldn't find it.
I didn't see it.
I couldn't find it.
But yeah, I like to listen to him talk. He's a
I hear good things about him.
Well spoken guy. Cotton is a great candidate, but nobody who has had a problem with Trump will get the nomination.
I heard Scott Adams said something. He goes, "You can't have a guy named Cotton. You can't get the black vote," because they'll go, "I can't pick Cotton.
I can't pick Cotton."
Credit where credit is due, Mr. Dilbert guy.
I can't pick Cotton.
I can't pick Cotton.
I'm not going to vote for him. I can't pick Cotton. That's funny. That's funny.
Oh boy!
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate it. I think we can wrap it up here.
So
sorry for the double
glitch.
The stream. We'll figure that out. That'll be my next research. And as far as doing these things, as long as you guys like them, we're gonna be doing them
as much as we can
every couple weeks, maybe 2 or 3 a month, something like that. And sometimes there's going to be longer stints. I'm going to have a baby sometime soon this summer.
Really?
So that's going to put me out of
Don't you have
commission.
to have the uterus implanted first?
Oh, no. You don't know. I'm going to breastfeed and everything. You haven't caught up with the times. You're living in the old days.
I know.
You know, my doctor's.
In fact, that was almost bigoted of me even to ask.
It was. Dr. Rachel Levine is going to be delivering the baby for me.
Is she the health officer or whatever she is?
Yeah. So no, but yeah, like I said, we're going to try to do this, and it's always probably going to be on a Saturday because that's when we can get together. And but again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for donating and sharing our videos.
Yeah, we're gonna, feel free to share the channel around a little bit. We're almost on a little bit of a subscriber drive right now.
Yeah, we definitely need.
We're boring now because Trump's not around.
That is true. Things have changed. So it's
I'm going to be talking
different.
a little bit more about a lot of just regular issues. Things like, there were a lot of things that I wrote, essays that I wrote that were about a greater look at an idea, at a larger chunk of an idea. And then Trump would do something really, really interesting, or we'd have a, life-threatening pandemic, or the economy would crash, and so you go off on this other thing, and then that other thing just lays there. So I'm going to go back through a lot of that stuff that I wrote last year and didn't get a chance to use, and maybe some of it will be serviceable still.
Someone mentioned Monty Python's, and that's a great scene, The Life of Brian, and he's like, I want to be called Loretta. It's like, and I want to have babies. They're like, how are you going to have babies? Where are you going to, where's the womb? Where's the baby going to take? You got no womb. He's like, don't oppress me, brother.
I was listening to
that's a great comment.
I was listening to
Laura Moore.
Douglas Murray on Jordan Peterson's podcast, and he was talking about that you're not allowed to question if an anatomical male says he's going to have a baby. You're not allowed to question it. And he goes, but where are you going to have it? In a bucket? Bucket.
Right.
Only Douglas Murray. I love that guy.
That's The Life of Brian. That I love that movie. It's a great one.
The Brits. It's so
Yeah.
funny when you listen to these Brits and Canadians that and all they talk about is American politics. You don't think of there's not American channels that all they do is talk about Canadian politics.
Well, I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
What we do in America affects the world a lot bigger than what Canada does or what, Belgium does.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, thanks again.
Thanks again,
We'll
guys.
see you all soon, and I'm going to end this stream now. You know what? I'm going to put you out with a little bit of music.
Music. Look at that. Very professional. This cost us literally dozens of dollars. No expense is too great. Well done, Jason.
We're getting better.
Are we out now?
We are out.